Hey everybody, and welcome to a pre-recorded version of Being Becca Live. So it's just being Becca, I guess. I am like trying to do a mix of um, live things and recorded things. So I just had something happen, and I feel like I want to talk about it because it's right here and it just happened. And I don't know if you can tell. It's been like 10 minutes or so since I felt sort of back into my body. Um, but I just had a meltdown. And I had this realization of having it. I feel like you're going to be able to tell that I had a meltdown. So I'm not sure that I'm going to end up posting this because I have no idea how it's going to come out. If you're watching this right now, I guess it didn't come out so bad. And so, anyway, I'm still a little shaking. I don't know if you guys, if that registers or not, but I'm still a little shaky in terms of my body and everything because there's a physical response when you have a meltdown, and it's a physical response kind of roller coaster in the way that when you feel nauseous, your body gets sweaty and all of these other things in your body happen, right? And so there's a very big physical response for me, at least, in terms of having a meltdown. And it goes through, meltdowns go through their phases, right? There's like a cycle for me, and I know my meltdown cycle and how it rolls. This one, though, is a meltdown that was not of my making. In other words, sometimes we create the situation of a meltdown for ourselves, maybe by spending too long a time in a sensory overloading environment, maybe by doing too much for a couple of days, maybe by any number of things, right? We all have our own meltdown triggers and what happens for that and all of that stuff. And so this one, and then sometimes, right, the outside world triggers our meltdown in some way. We have some kind of incident in some way that is not of our control, and that causes us to have a meltdown, right? So I'm kind of in at the end stages of the meltdown. The English is back. I'm done crying. And I'm done being super duper angry at what caused me to have a meltdown. Not really. I'm not really over the anger part yet. I can feel it. It's going to come back a bunch of times today. Just the residual anger of it, of what gets stolen from us when we have a meltdown, of the physical exhaustion of having a meltdown, the guilt and shame and the negative self talk that occurs with a meltdown. Like right now inside my head, I'm so embarrassed. And I'm also still angry and still sort of in meltdowny. So I know it's not all hit yet, right? That how could I let other people or a situation get in that far, right? I usually try to protect myself and things like that. But this one was really just, it came like out of left field and totally unexpected. And it reminds me of some things that cause us trouble out in the world still, as autistics, even though the world is so much more accepting for us. Say hi to Anara. Look how cute she is. She's just having a bath, loving to be on camera all the time. Oh, there it is. Look at her. She's such a lion. And then Fashmit's on the floor. I don't know. I'll try to get him. Oh, there he is. Fashmit. The dogs are outside right now because I needed quiet. I needed to be able to focus on what I wanted to talk about. So what I want to talk about, I want to kind of like, I'm going to be kind of vague because I don't want to name names. It's not about that. It's about the lesson in there and the way to handle things, and just the thoughts that it brought up for me, right? And so I want to be really careful about how I talk about it. So I just want to say there was an incident related to social constructs. And that's what I really want to talk about today is the social construct thing, and how that can be a trigger for our meltdowns, and other things for us, as well as anxiety, depression, and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. And when I say societal constructs, what I mean is it's, when we create societal constructs about judgments, about how other people live, function, whatever it is, right? Not only are we doing that without knowing what it's like to be in their shoes, but we are also creating a situation in which judgment is being passed, right? And what that means is that for the person that is passing judgment, there will come a time when judgment will get passed upon them as well, right? And so I really try to live a life where I don't pass judgment on other people and how they function in their lives and the choices that they make or whatever, right? If they are showing up in the world in a way that is acceptable to me, right, and that fits into my world and we fit into each other's world, that's great. Otherwise, like, who the fuck am I to judge anybody about the choices they make and, how they live their lives? And so, um, I just want to say that the concept of social constructs doesn't work for autistics because it's like for us being in a play, right? It's like we are participating in a play about life where we've all like these are the rules of the play, right? And we're all going to play our part in it, right? And it feels like a social construct feels like a lie in a lot of ways to an autistic, and that doesn't work. And the reason it doesn't work for our brain to live that way, and we live in a world in which that's the agreed upon game. Neurotypicals have all agreed to play this judgment game, right? We they associate with people who judge other people the same way they do, right? And that's how they make friends, right? And the closer they are, the more judgments about other people they share. It's a really interesting thing. It's not like autistic friendships or autistic relationships in which we are attracted to each other's brains, which is weird to say, I guess, and not in a sexual way. We are attracted, what makes an autistic friendship for us is that we have commonalities. We share something is overlapping for us that we can share excitement about, and that's how we build friendships. But it doesn't seem that that's how neurotypicals build friendships. And so I think that's why the word friend sucks for me. The word friend is a word I hate more than anything. And so it's almost like I don't want to call you my friend because I feel almost like that's an insult, if that makes sense. I hope that it does. I hope that you know what you autistics will know what I mean. And so I've just been thinking about all the different ways in which these social constructs are a huge stumbling block. Those are my dogs. I might need to let them in. Oh, can we? There we go. They're the stumbling block for us in any number of situations, social constructs, whether it's a private construct, a personal, social situation, or a work one, or a school one, or whatever. Those are the social constructs are the things that long term are the stumbling blocks for us, I feel. And so, we hit a butt really directly and very, very abruptly for people, the fact that we don't like to play in social constructs, that doesn't work for us, and our brains don't work that way, and it's like that's where it's like they've agreed to do the social constructs, and because we have decided to live this, or we prefer to live, I should say, when we're capable of it, an authentic life in which we don't participate in those social constructs because they're extra work for us, right? And that is something that really rubs neurotypicals the wrong way. I don't know why. It just rubs them the wrong way that we won't play the game, or that we don't like to play the game, or even more so, that we're not good at the game, right? I mean, who wants to continue to do something that you're just not good at? It's really defeating, and it's really painful, and it really beats up your self-esteem, right? To do that. And so it's hard to participate in social constructs when they don't work for you. They feel unethical in a really very base way. And also, like, I don't know. It's an affront. It's extra work for us. It's just I don't know how. I don't have the English for it right now. And somehow that difference, that core difference in just how we are built and how we see the world and how we function in it, that core difference seems to be the cusp of this big problem between the two groups, right? And it's like we can see and understand, and we've learned and all about the social construct and how important it is to them. But they've never kind of learned to drop judgment, right? About people that do it in some other way than they do, right? People that choose not to participate in the social construct, right? And so, um, like, I dare neurotypicals to step away from the social construct and try it the autistic way. Try being your authentic self out in the world. Try, making no apologies for who you are, right? And not pretending to be something you're not, and not doing things in some other way because you feel the judgment from outside. Because who gave those people that permission? Right? How dare they judge anything about somebody else, right? And then I think about it, and here's why I think they do. Oh, I have a hair in my eye. Hold on one second. Here's why I think that it happens. I think neurotypicals judge other people, according to social constructs, to prove that they themselves, right, are very good at keeping up with the social constructs, right? To distract you from any ways in which they may not fit into the social construct. And in order to keep you distracted enough from any missteps they may make, right, they point out the obvious missteps of others, and it goes into this judgment phase. So if I'm busy, I'm busy, judging others and how they do things, and I'm doing that with the other neurotypicals, then what is happening, right, is that, they're not paying attention to my thing, right? So they won't see my flaws and the ways that I am unable or don't feel like or whatever fitting into those social constructs. It's a distraction game. It's like magicianhood. Do you know what I mean? Look over here, because if you're looking over here, you won't look over here. And I don't want you looking over here because social constructs are so important to you. Well, guess what? Social constructs are not important to me. They're not important to a lot of autistics. It is so much easier and saves me so much more spoons to live an authentic life and to be who I am regardless of environment, right? To take my whole self with me everywhere. And because I do that, I risk this judgment. I risk when I interact with other people that they will judge because they are uncomfortable with my authenticness, or they are uncomfortable with the fact that despite their judgment, I still continue to do things. And so it reaches a point, I think, in which I just can't tolerate social constructs anymore. And I think I've reached an age and a time in my life where I've put up with people's judgments because of social constructs so much that I think it's so fucking stupid that that's what you people do. I do. I just think it's so fucking dumb. It's so much extra work. You're all doing it, so nobody really knows anybody, right? And you never really have a friend because nobody is ever actually entirely free of judgment because they too are participating in that social construct. I realize as I'm talking, there are only going to be autistics out there that understand what I'm talking about in this moment. So neurotypicals out there, if you don't get what I'm talking about and you feel like I'm blaming you, I'm having a very us-them moment right now. I try not to do that. I try to set an example that's better than that because the us-them place is also a place of judgment. And so I try not to do that a lot, but this is also residual meltdown stuff, that unfiltered, this is genuinely how I'm feeling right now, right? And I feel very us them right now. I feel very much like I've had it. I really can't. I'm too old. I'm too tired. I don't have the spoons. My life is too hard in other ways to dedicate any amount of spoons to social constructs that I think are stupid. Just dumb. And so I'm tired of it. And I also am realizing that the older I get, the less tolerant I am of neurotypicals and their behaviors, and how less tolerant I am about being held to some kind of weird neurotypical standard of life. I don't get it. I will never get it. It doesn't work for my brain. What does work for my brain is to be my whole self all the time. When I'm home, when I'm out at work, when I'm at the bank. And that, because that keeps me from masking, and masking is exhausting. I choose to mask still sometimes when it's convenient, right, for myself, but that's a conscious choice that I am making. I refuse to live a life where I am forced into masking because of your social constructs. I refuse. I'm done. And if that means I have to lock myself in my house and only be friends with the people on my computer, then I'll be damned. That's the way it is, because I've met some of the most fantastic people that way. Otherwise, I'm a real solo person. I mean, I have Antonio, and he's my ride or die, and I don't know, I don't need much more than that. And every time I try to step in to bigger than that, I see how fucked up the world still is, and it pisses me off. In order to stay sane, and in order to limit my meltdowns, and in order to save my spoons, I have chosen a life in which I won't participate in social constructs that don't work for me. And this is just the way that it is. And so I think it's going to be a little lonely life for me. But, I think that every time I try to make a friend, people remind me how very clearly the word friend is a bad word to use. That's where I am today. And I wanted to share with you those raw thoughts, sort of post meltdown phase, and the thoughts that it gives me. I'm sure that before I post this, I will watch it again. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I just have to put it out there and say, fuck it, man. Somebody else is going to get this. Somebody else is going to get it. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Anyway, if you are watching and you are seeing Schmidt clean his ass right now, I'm sorry that you're having to watch that. I don't know. I don't know what to do about it exactly. He's right there. But that's how I feel about the world right now, that the world can go clean its ass. Or I want to clean my ass in the world's face is really more like it right now. That is pretty good, actually, ending, because that's exactly how I feel right now. Sticking my ass in the world's face and just cleaning it. I don't give a shit. Go ahead, watch me clean my ass. And we'll let that fade into itself, and there's a lesson in here, and all of that will process. And so probably next week I might have a follow-up to this, and I might have some other thoughts on it, but hopefully I'll be able to do those live. But I did want to just capture these thoughts as they were just so fresh, and it was all just happening for me. And so that's why I'm sending you a pre-recorded version of Being Becca this week. And then I'll be back live next week, of course, next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I will be back here live doing Being Becca, where we talk about the challenges, right, of being an adult autistic alive right now, and not when research catches up. Until then, you guys, I hope to see you out and about on the interwebs. Do remember to get out there and create joy, share joy, and seek joy. I can't even remember my joys. Seek joy, create joy, share joy, all the joys, right? Get out there and do that. Send me all of your joy and all of your lovin's. I do appreciate it, and I love talking to you guys. And yeah, I am interested in your feedback on this one, so I look forward to comments and whatnot. So do me that favor. Of course, your thumbs up mean a ton to me, as well as your views. And of course, any of your shares mean everything to me. If you need to get in touch with me, all of that contact information is below in the description. And I will see you guys next week, back here at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Until then, out and about on the interwebs. Have a good one. Bye.